Great skills again by him. Oh, marvellous goal by Luton.
Welcome to the Rangers Journey.
Yes, hello. Believe it or not, it is Monday. It is 6:30. It is the 29th of December. We do not know what day is what in this festive period. But yes, you are live with the Rangers Journal here on YouTube. And of course, across all the socials. So while you're there, like and subscribe to the Rangers Journal on YouTube and turn your notifications on. Now, we are joined by a fantastic panel this evening. First of all, Billy, how you doing, mate? You doing well?
Yeah, I couldn't believe when you said it's Monday. I'm like, oh, so it is. It doesn't feel like it at all. I mean, I don't know what date it does feel like. They just all feel the same, and it's kind of nondescript. What does feel good is when there's a game coming up. So it's good that we've got one again quickly coming round tomorrow. So look forward to that. But yeah, I'm doing okay, mate. Thanks.
No, good to have you on as always, mate. Good to see you. So we've got Billy. We've also got Craig. How you doing, Craig, mate? You doing well?
Aye, doing well over this period of time. It's that week in it between Christmas and New Year. You've not got a clue what's going on, what's happening, anything. But aye, it's good that there's games coming in so you can break it up a wee bit. But I know I'm doing good.
Oh, that's good, mate. Good to see. And last but not least, it looks like you're live from the Blue Room at Ibrox. Did you get locked in, Ryan? How you doing, mate?
Yes, but I'm not locked in. I'm locked in for tomorrow's game. So yeah, I've snuck in there. I'm eating all the pies that have come in early and stuff like that. So I'm right in amongst it. So I'm contemplating the members' lounge bar at this moment in time.
Oh, totally. That's where I'd be. Now, good to have you on, Ryan, as well. Good to have you on. And obviously, everyone at home, hello, welcome to the Rangers Journal. Now, before we get started, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, we are proudly sponsored by Bluebells Bar in Puerto del Carmen in Lanzarote. So if you're over in Lanzarote, you'll definitely find a warm welcome at the only Rangers bar in Puerto del Carmen. So it's family friendly. You can take the Waynes in there. You can eat, drink, chill or party. And yes, every Rangers game is live, so do head there if you are looking for your Rangers fix during your holiday. So it's nothing better than sitting overlooking the ocean with a beer or a cocktail on their sun-kissed balcony, or you know what, if it is a bit too hot, grab a bit of shade and make sure you got your Factor 50 on as well. So when in Lanzarote, do pop in and say hi, and you'll get a warm welcome from the guys at the Bluebells Bar. So it's been another weekend. Rangers haven't quite ruined it for once, and but we can never go through a game without having a little bit of controversy, which of course we'll get to shortly. But yes, 1-0 v Motherwell. It wasn't a classic. It's not one you're going to look back on the old DVDs at. It was a 3 points, a kind of game that could have gone anyway. I was on the pre-match, and I didn't quite have many hopes for the game. I kind of predicted 2-0, Billy, going into it. But yeah, how did you feel kind of going into that, and what was your kind of overall thought of the game?
Well, yeah, it was me and you on the pre-match. I think Mitch had suggested 3-1, and I think I went along with that. And to be honest with you, it could easily have been that based on the last 5 minutes. I thought Motherwell, I don't know if it's just that we're in such a bad shape that other teams are looking better, but I thought Motherwell looked really good, especially the first, 25 minutes. They came out and had a go at us, but we did weather it, and, you know, it was, yeah, we come away with a win, so that it didn't ruin our weekend, but it certainly wasn't a comfortable watch. I mean, Ryan will be able to tell you from what it felt like in the stands. At home, I never really felt like we got really on top of anything, but even just the look at before it, I wasn't expecting such a close game. I thought we would, have the quality overall to, put the game to bed fairly easily, but Motherwell had different opinions on that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And to be fair, as a few of the comments come in there from Recovery Man and Sir Blue, Motherwell are very decent and they are very well organised, especially in attack. They're very good at linking up play. I think this is where kind of philosophy football kind of works at a club kind of like Motherwell, where you can kind of be consistent. But Craig, I think it's safe to say that kind of first 15 minutes of the match, probably not too dissimilar to how we've played at some points this season. We do take a while to get going sometimes, and we certainly did in the opening 15 there, didn't we? You okay there, Craig? Oh, I think...
Aye.
Speechless.
I pressed the button too many times. I know the first 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes, I thought that Motherwell just looked really organised. I know it's something they've done a lot. First time I really noticed it was the League Cup semi-final against Mirren. Now, they got absolutely hammered in the scoreline 4-1 in that game, but they had 60-65% possession and they looked really comfortable on the ball. So it's something I knew that they were good at, and it's something that you could see that they were better at us at it for the first 15 minutes. But I can't just I just struggle so much watching Rangers now, because it's not just Motherwell, it's not just teams that are well organised like Motherwell. It's everyone you seem to be unstuck with. I can't I just can't get my head around why it's like that sometimes. Again, it's going back to it's looking at a bigger picture thing, going back to the summer transfer window and things like that. Like, you just look at what we had and what we now have, and it's just unbelievable how backwards it's went over the course of one transfer window. But 3 points is 3 points, so I guess you should just accept it to an extent.
Okay, yeah, definitely 3 points is what you're looking for in the end of the day. In that kind of first opening 15 minutes, Jack Butland, Ryan, was called into account, pulling off a couple of saves. Lucas Fiddinger with that 12th minute shot, and then Callum Hendry not long after that. Did it look like to you at that point, because you were at the game, that it was going to be one of those days where we are possibly going to struggle?
Yeah, definitely. We have a distinct lack of quality going forward. We're crying out for a centre forward. It's excuse me. It's so abundantly obvious that we need a centre forward, if not two. I was disappointed that Roll chose Tremiti over Majowski, to be honest. I don't know, maybe if Majowski's only just come back from an injury, maybe he's got an eye in the next two games that are coming for us. Maybe Majowski might get some minutes tomorrow night, and obviously they've got the Old Firm game. Maybe they might be preferred, but Tremiti's got a lot to do. A real lot to do. And he needs support. I know a lot of people are saying, well, the big man's up there and he's trying his very best, but nobody's creating around him. But a real distinct kind of lack of quality. And if it wasn't for Jack Butland, if we were up against a better team, or if Motherwell were lucky enough that their main man, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, that he's away at the African Cup of Nations, if he'd have been playing, it could have been a different story for us.
Yeah, definitely. It was... let's stay with Tremiti, Billy. Obviously, it's kind of sometimes a bit of a 50-50 toss-up at the minute as to who's going to be starting. Tremiti obviously given the nod for whatever reason. Maybe, Majowski's maybe not 100% fit, but also maybe it's the fact that he scored that goal against Hearts, quite a decent goal actually. He did kind of create that all himself. Yes, it was in the dying minutes when you're 2-0 down, but still he scored it. A lot of people kind of saying in that first half that Tremiti actually did have a fairly good game. Some of his kind of link-up play was good. Some of his stuff off the ball was good. It just seemed to be the actual striking part that was lacking. Would you agree with that, Billy?
For the most part, I go back to what Ryan's saying about why Tremiti get chosen over him. I still don't think Roll is particularly fond of either of them, and is just hoping that one of them clicks. It did look like Majowski was going to get a run after scoring a couple of goals, but again, he is coming back from injury. But as regards his hold-up play, I thought he did well. If he had someone better quality in that attacking front round about him, he maybe would have been able to use that that ability to hold the ball up and play someone in. But where it falls down for me is there was several times, even in the first half, where a ball was flashed into the front 6-yard box and nobody was there, where Majowski probably would have been there if he had been the starting striker. So as much as he wouldn't have held the ball up as well as Tremiti maybe did, that was an improved performance by Tremiti. I think it probably was still the wrong call to go with him, because we needed someone just to be in the box to put the ball away.
Yeah. No, I know where you're coming from there. Craig, have you seen any improvement from Tremiti at all recently? Do you think that he is starting to kind of come onto a game, or is this still kind of more of the same from Yusuf?
No, I haven't seen anything different. Look, you know what you're getting off of him. He's going to have some good touches. He's going to hold the ball up from time to time. sometimes it's other players not getting, like Billy said, he's not got quality around him when he's holding the ball up. He's not got someone running off him and things like that. And sometimes he gives the ball away there. But the guy cost us £8 million, and he's a striker and he cannot shoot. And that's what, in my head, what it's always going to come down to. If an £8 million striker in Scotland is scoring 2 goals in half a season, and a fair few of the games he started, it's just not good enough. It just simply isn't good enough. And it's not like it's not even as if he hasn't had chances, but there's plenty of moments where you can go back to where he's had chances to score. He had a couple in the game on Saturday, that he just absolutely flopped at. And that, in the end, is what it comes down to. You can't have a striker that doesn't score goals. And when he costs you £8 million, it looks even worse.
Yeah, no, I do agree. It's you can never have an £8 million project, so to speak, can you, at a club like Rangers, especially with the price tag. So 20 minutes in, from that, around about that mark, Rangers started to play football. Ryan, Callum Ward was called into action a good few times towards the end of that half. Double save, one from Conor Barham, one from Gassama. Would you say our chance creation started to improve a little bit, Ryan? We do seem to be getting a little bit more up the park, even though we don't quite have the strikers at the minute. Do you think that is improving?
Yeah, I think we were able to pin them in a little bit more. Years gone by, watching Rangers at Ibrox, it was always 10, 11 men behind the ball at all times and trying to frustrate Rangers, and it was cross after cross after cross and try. So we're starting to see that where business as usual is starting to resume for us, because you're seeing teams now that are actually coming out and just having a go at us and playing against us and playing without fear, which is alarming for the situation that we're in at this moment in time. But obviously, shows how much we've digressed. But I think we managed to kind of pin them in. The keeper did a great double save there. The one particular from Gassama, he's managed to get himself back up on his feet quickly, make himself big in front of him. So it was a good save there. But it's good to see we're testing the opposition goalkeeper, but we obviously need to be doing more.
Yeah, no, we definitely do. So obviously first half ended, Billy, at 0-0. It was quite even when you break it down. But Danny Rule always seems to do something at half time. I think he just kind of organises people better in the dressing room. He seems to kind of give out some instructions, and we do generally start the start of second halves a little bit stronger, and it looked like we'd taken the lead. A decent finish 2 minutes into that second half. Raskin, a great finish from Gassama's cutback. He was onside, but VAR intervened and referenced the interference by Chamiti with the goalkeeper Wards. Straightforward offside for you, Billy?
Probably not straightforward, but if it was us at the other side, I would be screaming for interference. I think when Raskin does hit the ball, Chamiti is behind the keeper. It's certainly behind his eyesight, and so the keeper has he's not getting to it anyway. That's the disappointing thing. But there's also a Motherwell player very closely in line. I'm sure they would have looked at it. I'm not saying they were wrong, but there was a Motherwell player up behind the line. For me, what Chamiti is doing there, I don't know. It's just laziness. He just kind of continues his stroll after not getting the ball, and I don't know why he does it. But I can see. I didn't think it was going to stand after you see the replay of it, although it was nice to see Raskin celebrate it like that. It did look like he cared, but I don't think it's a straightforward one. There's a couple of points of failure in there. Chamiti being lazy, also probably been behind the goalkeeper, and also possibly a Motherwell player playing on one side. But I'm 100% sure that this great VAR quality we've got in this country would have thoroughly investigated that and not not just chopped the goal off because it looked like he was interfering with play. But I don't know how you feel, Andrew and Ryan and Craig. I think we'd be screaming for it if it was at the other end of the park.
Yeah, according to popular belief that VAR gives us everything, so I don't think that's quite right, Billy, if you were to listen to everything on social media. But definitely I'd be screaming for that at the other end. It's one of them. It's it's a difficult one. You can argue this is what frustrates me a lot, Craig. I think with some things, some decisions are matter-of-fact decisions, which are black and white, which are the easy ones. I guess this could come into that a little, but there's still some interpretation here where has Chumiti definitely, interfered with play there, blocking the keeper's movement, his line of sight. I think all this does come into it. For me, you do see he's against the keeper at one point, so you could argue that yes, he has put the keeper off. I'm watching it back, I was pretty happy that okay, VR's done its job here, that should have been chopped off. Did you feel the same with that?
I did, yeah. I'll be honest with you, I didn't notice at the time. I was at the game as well. I didn't really notice at the time. We were a bit confused. It wasn't until actually I was on the way home that I rewatched some highlights and I saw what it was for. And once I saw it, the Chumiti is right next to the goalkeeper. He's maybe not blocking his line of sight, but he's definitely blocked his movement towards getting to the ball once the shot's taken. So once I saw it, I thought, yeah, that was the correct decision, because the goalkeeper has been obstructed there with Chumiti running his way. But I don't understand. It was like Billy said, it was really lazy. Like, why? There was no need for him to run into the goal, run near the goal. Like, he didn't need to be there. It's just a really strange decision to do that.
Billy, did you want to come back in there?
Yeah, it was a kind of a point that maybe people in the comments, or maybe even yourself, Ryan or Craig, can answer for me. When they look at given decisions for VAR reasons, when they look at a defender, they do look at is there someone covering? Could someone get there? Would that player have got there? The keeper wasn't going to get the ball, so I do wonder how much they put into that, or whether that was a consideration at all. I probably tend to think that they wouldn't have considered that, but I think that they do normally consider whether a player's going to reach the ball. For other decisions, I'm interested if anybody knows what that rule is when it comes to this one.
I think like a lot of things. Sorry, Andrew. I think like a lot of things, it's the goalkeeper. There's one rule for goalkeepers and one rule for others. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but I have a feeling that goalkeepers, like a lot of things, will be treated slightly differently.
Yeah, you do tend to find that, don't you? As a member of the Goalkeepers Union myself, back in the day, but no. We do find that there is, you essentially can't touch a goalkeeper, really, can you? I think for us, the big issue is Chumiti and why he was there. Now, I don't want to kind of constantly mention Chumiti. He wasn't exactly the problem necessarily yesterday. Obviously, he's still got to get his shooting boots on. But Ryan, do you think, Chumiti, do you think that his confidence affected him there? Do you think if he's, a bit more in form, that he probably doesn't have an issue like that yesterday, or is this just complete bad luck there? It's one of those, he's looking to try and get any scrap from any save from the keeper, just trying to get himself into the right place like good strikers do. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, if you look back on it, he's anticipating Gassama squaring the ball across the box to him for him to get a tap in, but there's no real demand for the ball. There's no with confidence. If you're a confident striker, if you're Harry Kane, if you're guys like that, top level strikers, and your guys heading towards the byline, you're pointing at where you want the ball and you're shouting, "I want it there," and you're pointing. And all good wingers will put the ball there. They'll put it with a level of pace on it, so the defenders and the goalkeepers probably won't get there. But the big man's just strolling towards it with very little hunger or desire to get on the end of it. Gassama's obviously probably looked at who's in the middle and thought, "They'll give it to you. Going to cut it back to Raskin because I don't trust you to be the one that's going to put the ball into the box." And he's basically just strolled into the goalkeeper's territory, and Raskin's obviously got the shot off. It's right into the back of the net, and it looks as if the big man looks quite silly the way he actually is. But truth be told, he actually probably is where he should be, but he's not got anything that he wants to go in and smash it. And you're thinking, like, penalty box strikers, how many goals did McCoy's probably score like that over these years? How many goals did Morelos pick up like that? And guys that will get up the goal scoring charts will be in the 6-yard box with tap-ins and stuff, especially if you are playing with guys like Gassama in your team. When they are playing on the wrong side of the park, they're playing inverted. So it's just really poor. And the lack of confidence that's ripping out this boy is incredible. But at the stage where we just need to take him out of the team and just bleed him back in very, very slowly, because every time he's on, he's just getting further and further and further down. And if you're a defender, especially big tower and strong defenders, and you're playing against a striker that's got no confidence on, he's going to get eaten alive. Imagine what Alex Gogic is going to do to him tomorrow night if he plays against him. He's just going to bully him all over the park.
Yeah, that's just sent a shudder down my spine there a little bit, Ryan. Cheers for that. Actually, one thing here we do have to say, that back flick from Chimiti, that it was on target as well. That would have been very Nikica Jelovic, I think, if that would have gone in. But yeah, as Wattup here says, Chimiti needs a hat trick on Saturday for confidence. I don't think we'll be getting a hat trick, but you never know at the minute, to be fair. I think that's probably one of the hardest games to predict. But yeah, so obviously, Mohamed Diamande came off around the 56th minute, Billy. Mohamed Diamande is probably one of the players this season that we've looked at that could help with creativity and things, but we're seeing little and little of it every game, aren't we?
I don't know if he's mentally checked out. It's an easy thing for a fan to say, but it doesn't look like he's interested in the slightest. He's been making very rash tackles when he loses the ball, and he did the same in the first 20 minutes or so, just outside our box. Loses the ball, then he's trying to do silky things with his feet, loses the ball, and then just takes a swipe at the Motherwell player and brings on a free kick. So it's he doesn't deserve to be. We said this in the pre-match pod, Andrew. He doesn't deserve a starting position. Probably the manager's lack of faith in Leo Cameron is the only reason he's getting a game, because he's not doing it on merit, and he's actually he's more of a liability, and he's not creating anything because he's picked up some yellow cards that could easily turn into a red if he just does the same thing again after getting a yellow, loses the ball, hits out to someone, and we could be down to 10 men. He's caused it before, hasn't he? So yeah, he's one of the ones that I would say needs to be taken out the team, probably taking out the club as a whole. There's a bunch of players in there that probably need to go, and he's high on my list of one that shouldn't be there at all. He's not done enough. He's had some nice games in Europe, but that's it. He doesn't do it in the league, and that's what we need, especially at the moment. That's what we need him to be doing it.
We should do, Billy, we should do. Just like to say hello to Alejandro Herrera, the famous Glasgow Rangers. Looks like he's sending it in from sunny Spain. So, get liking and subscribing. And everyone at home, there is a good few hundred watching this. So do like and subscribe, and do turn your notification bell on, and you'll be notified anytime the Rangers Journal goes live. So our goal eventually come, Craig. It was around, I think it was the 67th minute mark, wasn't it? Gassama, his cold shot was parried by Ward, who had a fairly decent game between the sticks for Motherwell, and Asgard was in that kind of right place at the right time, maybe what Chimiti was trying to do earlier in the game, and he was able to tap in the rebound and break the deadlock. And of course DJ Quicksilver's Bellissima rang around Ibrox, which gives you a nice 90s throwback, but not exactly what a collector's item of a finish for Asgard, but he'll be happy with that, won't he?
Yeah, he's probably one that needed it. I really like him. I think he's got some good touches. I think when he can be bothered, he offers something decent. The issue is it's one every 4 or 5 games that you really see it from him. He really, really frustrates me. I mean, they all at this point in time, maybe apart from Barron, really frustrates me. But he's another one that's just like I have a feeling he could offer a lot more. And there was a little bit made about him when he was celebrating. He kissed the badge, and people kind of construed that as, well, why are you kissing the badge if you're not putting in 100%? I'm not sure if it's a lack of effort per se. I think it's just he's just struggling just to kind of climatize himself. I think moving from League One in England to the Scottish Premiership, although many English fans will tell you it's no issue at all, I think it's a jump, if not just in quality but in physicality. I think you'll get a lot more big physical defenders coming at you in this league, and I think he's struggling because he likes to take 3, 4, 5 touches. He likes to dance around players, and It doesn't always come off, and I think that's why you don't always see that level of performance from him. But right place, right time for the goal, and we needed it. We really needed it because things could have went wrong. Like I liked what Ryan said earlier about Motherwell. Tawanda Maswanhise is the guy's name. If he was there yesterday, I think we could have been really struggling because that guy's been on fire. And so are quite a few of the Motherwell players, to be fair. Elliot Watt. Is it Ethan Just? I can't remember his other name. I can't remember his first name. But they've had a good few players really on form recently, and it could have been much different. But he was right place, right time, and he got the goal. And again, 3 points is all you can ask for. I know I've said that already, but it really is a big point to make. Like, you need 3 points more than anything, and we did get it. So there should be a little bit of praise to the players for that, and generally since Roll came in, that we've got 3 points. Majority of league games under Danny Roll.
Yeah, you can't deny the work Danny Rowell's done. Ryan, you look at our stats now. Let's talk about Danny Rowell for a second. Obviously, since he's came in, we've been one of the strongest. We've had one of the strongest defences in the league, which sounds absolutely hard to believe. Is this all due to Danny Rowell's kind of tactics, or is this more to do with now we have players like Sterling back? That have just kind of added a little bit of steel, or is it a bit of both? Would you reckon, Ryan? How have you seen this, especially from the change from Russell Martin, who had a win rate of approximately 26-27%?
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny we're a different team. We are a different team. If I shudder to think what Ibrox would look like if Russell Martin was still the manager, it'd be empty, to be honest. And as much as guys like Dujon and Sterling are starting to come back in and stuff, I have obviously lost guys like Suter and Cornelius, so as much as guys come in and guys will come back out again, stuff, but that's the nature of football, if you like. He's done the thing that I just asked when he first came in. It's just stop us getting beat and stop us, losing all these silly goals that we're losing. Actually, bring a sense of stability back to it. You're not going to get a fine tune out of this. I think there was a guy from Heart and Hand, I think it was Davis from Heart and Hand podcast, said that he's not going to get a tune out of these guys, but what he can do is get a rhythm out of them, which I thought was a great analogy of it. And you can't deny he is getting a rhythm out of it. It's not going to get much better than what it is just now, but try to reach the salvation of January, which is thankfully only a couple of days away now. And the club need to back him. The Americans have recognised that they did make a mistake with the recruitment of likes of Kevin Thelwell and stuff, and he's not as done a good a job as what he could have done, and that's obviously why he's not employed by the club anymore. So the checkbook needs to get opened again. If there's a shortage of funds for what Danny Rowell wants to do, then we need to look at what's available in the squad to be sold. And I'm pointing the finger at somebody like Nico Raskin, who arguably is our best player, but probably is our most valuable player within the squad. And if it looks as Danny Rowell thinks he needs a lot of money to make this happen, I would sacrifice Nico Raskin for a transfer budget to allow him to bring in another 3 or 4 players. Raskin, unfortunately, has just dropped too many levels for me. The time that he's been at Rangers, he's probably, how long has he been at Rangers now? Is it 2 years, nearly 3 years for this? No. He's given us a decent 6 months within that, let's be honest. And he lacks a level of consistency. There's obviously hints of certain amounts of disciplinary issues and stuff that Barry Ferguson mentioned. Obviously, Russell Martin took him out of the team. So the time might just be, let's just cash in on him. Let's just get a good few and just give that money to the manager and see what he can do with it. Conor Barron, for me, is over the last 4 or 5 games, has raised his stock so high. The wee man is absolutely everywhere. He's doing all the running that Raskin used to do. He's making all the tackles that Raskin used to do as well. The one thing that he does lack is obviously creativity and confidence in the final third, which maybe Raskin does have. But we just need to go out there and find a player that will complement Barron. And if it's that would be my plan towards it. I think if we just need to back the manager now. The Americans need to come out and say, right, what do you need? You can't go a whole squad rebuild in January. It's unrealistic to think we're going to go out and sign 10 players in January. It would be ludicrous to go out and sign 10 players in January. because we've still got a championship that we're still fighting for. We've still got a Scottish Cup that we're still going for here. If we go out and sign 10 players in January, we're struggling the season because it'll take a certain amount of time for these guys to gel and stuff, settle in, all these things. So 4 or 5 players, but 4 or 5 very good players, decent quality.
Yeah. No, well said. And the January window's always hard. It is the worst transfer window in a sense because it's clubs that are looking to offload players that aren't performing, and it can take time to get them up to speed. And you can't just, as you say, bring in a whole new team anyway. It's just not possible when you've got issues with loans and things like that. I think we need to ship out as well, as much as we need to bring in. But going towards the end of the game, of course. Looking at the possession, it was quite interesting. Motherwell did have the majority of possession. Yes, it was only about 4% more than us, but that was quite an interesting stat. I think Motherwell did move the ball around quite well at times. However, their chances did drop off. I did feel that they were trying to push up, but they were leaving themselves a little exposed at times. So we did create a barrel load of chances in that last kind of 5-10 minutes, and it was just insane. There was one point, it was like 3 or 4 on 1, and we just could not put the ball in the net. Billy, how does that happen when you look at a game like this? It's Motherwell, we're at home, we're already winning, and you just need people to just tap the ball into the net. We just can't do it. What do you think that issue is? Is that literally just down to quality of ability?
It could be that, I mean, Ward did have a good game. Some of these saves he pulled off, he had no right saving, but it's just, we seem to get that every time a goalkeeper comes to Ibrox to his game of his life. Other than that, was it Livingston goalkeeper a few weeks back? Most of them seem to pull off these worldies. But yeah, 3-on-1s, 4-on-1s, 4-on-2s. You think just stroll, pass it along and then pass it by the goalkeeper. I don't think it's just it's thing of this. I'm thinking it's the same with Chimiti. It's probably more to do with confidence than anything else. They must have the ability to put a 3-on-1 goal. They must do that in training. So it can't just be down to ability. It must be something else. But it was. I thought the Motherwell goalkeeper had in fact, both goalkeepers had very good games. Jack Butland making up from last week, and also just to reiterate, because we seem to be complaining a lot about players. But Ryan mentioned Connor Barron. What a game he had. I remember thinking in the first half, he's not going to last. He'll have to come off at 60 minutes. He's doing so much running, but he'll last the whole game. I liked him when he first came in last season. I know he got taken out the team, but he needs to be. He's first name in the team sheet for me at the moment because he's all over the park. He's shutting down everything, and as Ryan said, done what Raskin has done for 6 months, and so we're not giving him enough praises, what I was saying, because we're kind of too annoyed with the ones that are underperforming. But as regards the chances, criminal. We should have been, as I say, it should have been the 3-1 or the 3-0 goal line, score line. Sorry, that I predicted before the match started, because we definitely should have put a couple of them away.
Well, definitely, because before in that pre-match, I was obviously not seeing where the kind of goals were coming from. But when you look at the stats, we had 28 shots with 13 of those on target. We have not really seen that from Rangers much this season, and that actually it looks so much better when you look at it. You think, oh wow, but then obviously it's that big worry when you've got an XG of 3.9. So essentially, you should be getting 3 to 4 goals in that game. We only walk away with 1, and you look at all the other opportunities. Some of them were limp, some of them weren't so good. But I guess it's something that can be worked on. Motherwell's XG was 1 from that game if you're into your XG stats. Now, I'm going to come to pretty much the end of the game. It wasn't quite the last kick of the ball, but there was a little bit of an incident which dominated social media over the weekend, as usual as it does. But winger Lucas Fadinger cutting into the box, goes down under a challenge, I'll say, from Fernandez. Craig, obviously you were at the game, so you can give me your perspective of how you saw it there. When I saw that live, I thought, uh-oh, what did you reckon?
So it's funny you say I can give my perspective. So my season ticket seat is in the Sandy Jardine stand in line with that 18-yard box, and it was on my side of the ground. And right away I went, that's a dive. Although when you look back at the footage, it's not so much the actual incident, but you see, I think Lyle Cameron, I think Finlay Curtis as well. I think the two of them turn around and like they're convinced it's a penalty. From what I've seen after watching it over and over again, after the original thought of that's a dive, it's lazy of Fernandes to leave his leg there. He kind of leaves his leg trailing. It's kind of silly. But to me, the Motherwell player initiates the contact by moving his leg towards Fernandes's leg, as silly as it was for Fernandes to leave his leg trailing. It's something similar. I think Gassama had one against Hibs. I think he cut the ball back and it looked as if he was tripped, but it was given because he initiated the contact. I think there's something similar happening there. I think it was right to not look at it. And people were also saying that, well, there was no on-field review. So yeah, but VAR still checking it behind the scenes. So if they feel that the on-field decision was correct, then they're not going to go to an on-field review because there's nothing to look at because they agree. So yeah, didn't think it was a penalty at the time. Watched it back, still don't think it's a penalty. But I see where the confusion's coming from. But no, not a penalty for me.
Yeah, I think we're in this day and age now of, I think especially more for handballs, I think people really don't know anymore what a handball is, and I can understand that because it really isn't black or white anymore. I think it does need to be more clear that, do you know what, if it hits your hand, it's a handball. I just think that would clear a lot of issues up. But with this one, I've been seeing a lot of comparisons to the Silva-Johnson penalty incident at Ibrox from about a year ago, which they're not comparable. I think the only reason that's been used is because Johnson gets a slight toe on the ball despite then going through Silva's midriff with his leg, which it's laughable that people still claim that's not a penalty, but you know, hey, I'm a blue tinted specs on there. But Ryan, obviously you were at the game yourself. What did you make of that in real time if you did see it?
Real time, clear dive. Just couldn't wait to go on the ground, and now that I've kind of had a chance to look back on it, the boy's knocked the ball past Fernandes and he's got no desire or wish to get himself onto the ball to have a strike at goal. His only desire is to make contact with Fernandes and get himself on the ground and try and get a penalty. So it's as clear a dive as you'll see. And as much as the referees have reached the right conclusion as far as the penalty is concerned, if it's not a penalty, it's a dive and it's a yellow card to the Motherwell player. So he's got to kind of pull them back for that and say, simulation, you can't be doing that. It's a yellow card offence. Because if guys are constantly, now obviously you're speaking about previous instances and people try to bring up comparables and stuff like that. If you don't punish divers will keep diving. So it's chronic. But they came at the right decision in the end. The boys knocked the ball past, and he starts to dive as soon as the ball goes past Fernandes. He thinks, right, there's the contact. I'm going to go for this. And fair play. The boys, if it was my player in the last minute of the game and I'm trying to get an equaliser and he knocks the ball past, he doesn't think he's going to get that. It's part of the sport, unfortunately. But I thought the referee reached the right decision. But certainly, if it's not a penalty, it's definitely a yellow card.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Billy, how did you feel on that, watching that?
Watching the game like you were, mate, I seen him going down, but the referee instantly just waved it on, so I assumed there was not really much in it. I know our VAR is cheap as chips, but David Dickinson did have a good view of that, and he immediately just waved it away. So he had probably one of the best views at it. Not often that you get. In fact, I was watching. I'd read online that we hadn't, unrelated, but we hadn't had a penalty at Parkhead since was it Hutton. Let's just say that I don't know if necessarily know if that really was a penalty, but Colm isn't even looking at the contact. If you watch that back slowly, he's facing the wrong way and he points that he doesn't know, he guesses. Dickinson yesterday had a great view of that, and I don't think there was any reason for VAR to get involved. A couple of things though, have we seen it back? It does look to me like Fernandes does get some contact on the ball. It does make a slight change in direction. Maybe that doesn't come into it. If I was the Motherwell players' teammates, I'd be angry they didn't make a better contact because he kind of stands on Fernandes rather than using you could use that leg to trip you over if you were good at diving, I guess. But for me, no, lazy leg, that could easily have been punished. I don't think it would have been fair to do so, but he needs to not put his leg out like that as well. Although, as I'm saying that, I do think he maybe possibly made some contact with the ball. So yeah, don't think it was a penalty. I don't see the comparison. Did Silva not even get a cut on his leg from that challenge from Johnson? I seem to remember something. It wasn't nothing. But that player looked for that. Going back to Ryan's point on the yellow card, if Dickinson sees it and waves it on right away and says no, he has to give him a yellow card. Because I know sometimes momentum can carry you over, so not every challenge that's not a penalty doesn't necessarily mean it's a diving yellow card, but that is clearly him putting his foot towards Fernandez's planted foot and going down, as Ryan saying, going down before he's even got to Fernandez. So I guess in this country especially, we hate divers. Maybe in South America or the continent, it's more of a skill that is appreciated. Not for me here. Book every single player that dives, whether it's one of our players or whatever. It's not something I want to see in the game. So I agree with Ryan on that one. But not a penalty.
Yeah, do you know what? I like I know exactly what you mean there, because if we had a player like Neymar where he used to roll around with no contact, like all the way down the pitch, we would all stand up and tell him to get up. It's not for me, and it's not for the majority of Rangers fans, I think. So yeah, no, it's an interesting one. It's interesting how that became a massive storm. I did see a clip, Marvin Bartley on Super Scoreboard. I do like Marvin Bartley. I think he's quite a wise man, but he claimed in that, I think he's seen it from a different angle, I don't know, but he claimed that that Fernandez was nutmegged at that point, and it wasn't nutmegged, it was kind of to the side of him, but there definitely is a touch. Now I'm just going to read from the actual laws of the game. So it seems that on review it's Fadinger that steps across, seeks the leg, or throws himself down rather than being impeded by a careless trip. Then under law 12, no foul has occurred and the correct restart is to let play continue. VAR is only meant to intervene for a clear and obvious error, so if they think the on-field decision is at least a defensible interpretation, even if some referees would give it, they will not send the referee to the monitor. And this is something that I don't know why earlier I was bored sitting on the toilet, but I got into an argument with one of the Moon Howlers, so I should know better really, shouldn't I? And that's kind of essentially what I had put, because you got to kill the time somehow, haven't you, make somebody throw off.
You're going to give yourself piles, Andrew.
Yeah, definitely. But see, law 12, you only get a penalty if the defender commits a direct free kick offence like a careless trip. The officials clearly decided that didn't happen here, seeing Fadinger as buying the contact, because of course he initiates into him. And one thing you do notice with Fernandez, yes, the ball does come off him. The ball doesn't always necessarily mean it's not a penalty because he's had contact with the ball, but you can see the ball was played too far in front, and you can see Fernandez is mid-turn as he's coming towards him. So in a sense, he's kind of pulling away from him as he runs into him. He's tried to buy it, hasn't he? And it's made clear by the angle from behind the goal. But there we go, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments. Right, so 3 points, Chips and Haim against a decent Motherwell side. Motherwell have been on a bit of a decent run, and actually are probably one of the more surprise kind of teams in the league this season, I would say. Obviously, we've had, obviously Hearts being top of the league is a bit of a surprise, but I think Motherwell have kind of been quietly sneaking up that league table, and we've ended their 10-game Premiership unbeaten run. So the games come thick and fast this time of year. Of course, we do have St Mirren tomorrow, Craig. 19:45 kickoff. I do not like games against St Mirren in the evening. They just they make me feel scared a little bit. Quickly, I'll just go through the kind of form against St Mirren so far. Much like the form against Motherwell, it's not been good. Our last 3 games, it was St Mirren 1, Rangers 1, then it was St Mirren 2, Rangers 2 in April 2025, and of course Rangers 0, St Mirren 2 in February 2025. St Mirren fresh from winning the League Cup a couple of weeks ago with a very strong performance. Safe to say this is going to be a bit of a tough game, isn't it?
Yeah. It is not just St Mirren, but it is something that we've seen from Stephen Robinson for years, which is big physical team. I actually have St Mirren's team from the game at the weekend against Kilmarnock, where they actually struggled with a 0-0 draw against a Kilmarnock team that has not been able to do much. So maybe give ourselves a little bit of hope there. But you're looking at all these guys. I mean, the majority of them are 6 foot plus. The majority of them are big guys. Marcus Fraser, Gogic, Killian Phillips, and Lundulu, Jonah Ayunga, the guys that scored. Ayunga scored 2 goals in the cup final. This is staples of a Stephen Robinson team that's difficult to play against, difficult to break down, and you're going to have your work cut out for you. But you're looking for a similar. You're looking for a similar performance to the Motherwell game, or not, maybe not a similar performance, but a similar result to the Motherwell game. It's probably going to come about the same way, where it's going to be hard fought. They are a different style to Motherwell. Motherwell like to keep the ball. St Mirren tend to be a lot more direct. But it's going to be another tough one. It's going to be another tough watch. There's no getting around that. But you also have to keep faith that Danny Roll will be able to pull it out of them again. You never know, but yeah, you're fearing St Mirren similarly to you were fearing Motherwell, but result is always possible.
Result is always possible. Well, Ryan, going into the kind of end of the calendar year, we've only lost our final league game of the calendar year once in the past 8 years, which is winning 5 and drawing 2. So the odds are kind of in our favour a little bit. St Mirren are kind of, I think, where are they sitting 9th in the league at the minute? They're not kind of as high as you'd imagine. So what do you reckon? What are you expecting tomorrow, Ryan?
A really difficult game, a really physical, tough game. They'll attempt to slow the game down on occasion as well. They'll look to load the box as much as they can. We've just got to be very careful with what we're doing. They're obviously capable of scoring goals. The guy, Mandron, Ayunga, Undulu, they've got guys in their team that can score goals. The guy Phillips looks as if he's got a bit of an injury in the middle of the park. We've lost Bacchus to injury. He looks as if he's going to be out for a couple of months, which is a bit of a blow to them. But their captain O'Hara is coming back in. The thing what we ultimately need to do tomorrow night is we need to take our chances. That's really what we need to do. Is we need to be clinical. We need to be fast. We need to get down the channels because they typically play with a back 3, so they could be exposing the wing. So the likes of Gassama, Mikey Moore if he plays out wide, or Finlay Curtis, so we can get at them, get down the sides. We need to load the box, but the boys will be in for a tough one tomorrow night. There's got to be a lot of yards, there's got to be a lot of physicality in there. They've got to make sure they're ready for it. Try not give anything silly away around the box. Try not give them opportunities to load the box and get the crosses in and stuff like this. Be clever in that respect. But there'll be times in the game where we'll need to defend as well, because they'll be launching the ball forward as much as they possibly can. That is basically they'll let us come at them, they'll tackle us, and they'll just try and boot it long. And the size of Ibrox, there's a possibility they can get in behind. So we need to be very clued up and switched on to make sure that we can defend there. I don't want to see any hesitancy for Jack Butland that we seem to see creep into his game on occasion. I think there was a wee incident on Saturday there where he just kind of came through, he just kind of slightly hesitated. He's got to be decisive tomorrow night if there's any of these long balls and he's going to come out and take it. So probably the most important thing is we need to make sure we keep 11 men on the park, because we can't afford to lose anybody for the game on Saturday either.
Yeah, that's also key as well, isn't it? So it's kind of going to be wrapping some players in cotton wool a little bit. You can't help but think about the game after, even though you've got to focus on the game tomorrow, because no game is a gimme. But you can't deny that will play a part in Danny Rule's mind possibly for the team selection tomorrow. Alexandros Kiridis, he's created more chances than James Tavernier this year, so they've got a lot of creativity in their team. Alex Gogic featured in BBC Scotland's Team of the Week. Of course, he's a name that we do keep hearing. Throw him some money and we'll have him for maybe a season or so. We can't do no harm. But as Shona says here, physicality will be key tomorrow. Win the duels. Billy, is this a game that we can wrap up before half-time tomorrow?
I don't think you can confidently say that about us against any team, even early rounds of the Scottish Cup. I wouldn't be particularly, confident we could wrap a game up early. I think that we have double the points than them. They're 10th in the league. They're there because we are better than them. So we should be, as much as there's this physicality to them, they've got a way of playing that sometimes gets results. To be honest, I was really impressed with them in the cup final. I did watch it, and I thought they played really well. But we should, on paper, I know the game's not played on paper, but we should be able to have more than enough at Ibrox. You said earlier on about being not wanting to play St Mirren on an evening kickoff. It's mainly when it's at New Love Street, isn't it? That we keep seeming to struggle on an evening kickoff. I think tomorrow night under the lights we should be strolling to a couple of goals, win, another clean sheet. They've got big guys, but we've got more skill than them, and we should hopefully have enough to deal with it. But I'm not confident it's going to be done by half time. It might be another nail-biting 90 minutes.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Stephen Robinson, he's a very good SPFL manager, and he's somebody that can really set up his side well. And he will be looking to set up to... Normally it would be fully frustrate, but I think... managers like Stephen Robinson now know how to kind of get at us as well. So I don't think they'll fully sit back. Yes, they're at Ibrox. Yes, it's an evening game, but I think we're going to see two sides to St Mirren tomorrow. I think they're going to be stodgy in the first half, and I think they're going to come at us in the second half. I think a lot of teams have started to do that now, hoping they can kind of pick us off in that second half. Of course, they've won the League Cup. They've got a pretty decent record against the Old Firm this year, like I think most teams in Scotland do this season. It's one of those anomalous seasons. But breaking the stats down of the last 10 meetings, Craig, we've had 4 clean sheets in our last 10 meetings against St Mirren. They've had 1. We've scored 17 goals. They've scored 9. And they've had 2 wins, and we've had 6. So... I know, again, times are a little bit different, but it does seem to be in our favour a little bit. We are winless in our last 4 meetings with St Mirren, and only in November 1904 and August 1984 have we ever gone 5 without a win over St Mirren. We're not going to make a new record, are we, tomorrow, Craig?
I wouldn't think so, no. It's... it's one of these games that's going to be difficult to bypass, to get through. As you say, they're going to make it difficult for us. I think they will do the reverse. I think you're right, they will do the reverse of what Motherwell did, where Motherwell came out strong and then kind of ended up sitting back a little bit and then came back at us. I think they will start cautiously and then work their way into the game. I think that was their game plan for the cup final against Celtic, and then it kind of almost threw their own game plan out the water when they went 1-0 up after 2 minutes. So I think it's so difficult for me to talk up Rangers right now. I really try to, but I can't, because everything just feels, there just feels an undertone of negativity throughout the whole club just now, and it's only up to up to the Americans to sort that in January. But realistically, yeah, you do look to be winning this game, and you do expect to win this game regardless. And I don't see any reason why we'll go 5 games without a win against St Mirren, which is unbelievable that we've got to 4, to be honest with you. I remember, I think the other game was it not Boxing Day last year? Did we not get beat by them? I think we got beat 2-1. I think Danilo scored. Just games like this, they should be won. And as you say, at Ibrox, I think, it should just get over the line. But it's really difficult to talk up Rangers just now. But yeah, a small similar to the weekend win.
Yeah, there we go. Ryan, who's your key player for tomorrow that is going to be key for us to get 3 points?
Probably Mikey Moore. Everything we look to be doing, which is creative and exciting, seems to come through him at this moment in time. I was surprised they never started the game against Motherwell, but there's obviously reasons in you need to trust the manager and those sorts of things. But I think everything that seems to be coming good from a Rangers point of perspective seems to be coming through that young man.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree. Billy, give me your score prediction for tomorrow, mate. What do you reckon? Rangers St Mirren, Ibrox, 7:45 kick-off. It's probably going to be a similar number in the crowd, maybe about 40,000. What do you reckon?
A couple of goals. I think we'll win by a couple of goals, mate. Can I just say, if that's Scotty texting as the Rangers Journal, you're texting me during a live pod and you're watching the blinking pod. It's not even like you forgot it's on and you're texting me. Just give me a break here. I'm trying to concentrate on the pod. But anyway, guys, yeah, I think it's going to be a couple of goals, a comfortable night. But after maybe 70 minutes, we'll start to feel the comfort set in, if you know what I mean. It'll be a comfortable result, but it might take us a wee while to get there. Completely agree with Ryan. Mikey Moore's probably going to be our main outlet of chance creation. I hope we've got someone in the box, whether that's Miovski or Shemiti, that someone is going to take the chances this time.
Yeah, it does seem that Mikey Moore is the outlet for creativity at the minute. Obviously, kind of on the bench for the Motherwell game, came on in the second half. Hopefully he's getting back up to speed now after his injury layoff. He has looked brilliant when he came back in. He was hitting the ground running. We never really have a player hit the ground running, and I think he's enjoying his time here at Rangers. So hopefully it could just be that key to unlock the defence tomorrow, because the St Mirren defence is going to be stodgy. It's going to be led by Gogic, who's very good at reading the game. You can't just punt balls into the box. They'll deal with them all day. You have to be technical. You have to be good. And St Mirren are another team that I've been fairly decent at times, not as consistent as Motherwell, but obviously they can be got at as well. Craig, what's your prediction for tomorrow, mate? What do you reckon?
Normally when I do predictions, I always predict the other team to at least score a goal, but since we are now the strongest defence in the league, I don't see that. I don't see that happening. That's scary, isn't it? That we've now statistically got the strongest defence in the league because we've conceded the least amount of goals, considering where we've been. But I'll go for. I say the same as Motherwell. I'll go the same as Motherwell. I'll go 1-0. I do think it'll be patchy and difficult, but I think we'll get it over the line like we did at the weekend.
Oh man, 1-0. I don't know if my heart can take another 1-0, another blooming 95 minutes of just one. Can we not just be 3-0 up at half time? That would just be lovely, and then, we can chill out a little bit in the second half. But no, fair enough, Craig. I think you've seen the reality of the situation, and it is mad when you think about it, the way that we have now one of the best defensive records, and actually we're the most informed team in the league, based on, I think, the last 10 games, or at least since Rolls come in, we've definitely been the most informed team. Ryan, your prediction for tomorrow, mate? You going along to Ibrox?
Yeah, I'll be there, pal. I'll be there. I don't miss many, so I'll be there, and I think we'll win 2-0. Confident that. I think I'll be get a wee buzz in there. Looking forward to Saturday. Saturday's obviously the big one, but we've got a game to handle first of all. 2-0, injury free, suspension free. Move on to the big one.
There we go. Well, there we go. Yeah, do you know what? That is key tomorrow. It's getting the 3 points. It's being suspension and injury free for the weekend, and it's making sure that the players are in a fit enough position really to be in for that kind of team. We maybe will see some changes tomorrow. I still think it'll be 2-0. I just feel that just feels the scoreline that it's going to be. I still don't think we're really capable. We'll create chances, but I just don't think we'll put many of them away. We just don't really have that in us at the minute. But yeah, I'm going 2-0 as well. So guys, in your comments, get your predictions put in, and keep your comments coming. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Rangers Journal. I think that's us for tonight. We've muddled through Motherwell. Hopefully we can do the same against St Mirren. Don't forget our sponsor, our proud sponsor, Bluebells in Puerto del Carmen, Lanzarote. If you are over in the Spanish Canary Islands, do visit the lovely guys there. It's a lovely part of the world, and they'll look after you in there. So I'd just like to say thank you to Billy. Thank you for coming on tonight and giving us your opinion.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for hosting us. Always nice to have a chat.
Always nice to have a chat indeed. Good to see you, Billy. And Craig, thank you ever so much for coming on, mate. Thank you for your opinion.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, always nice to see you. Always nice to see you, mate. And last but not least, Ryan, thank you ever so much for coming on, mate. And thank you also for your opinion.
No problem at all, mate. No problem. And obviously we'll be thinking about absent friends over the next few days as well. We'll be having our minute silence. So obviously, people will be coming around for the ceremony for the Ibrox disaster. So forever in our thoughts.
Forever in our thoughts, indeed. 2nd of January, and as always, it does. New Year always does make you remember the people you have lost, and yeah, I'll definitely be raising a glass. And obviously, thank you to everyone in the comments this evening. You've been fantastic. Don't forget, every night is a Rangers Journal night. Take care, and on the Rangers.
Every night is the Rangers Journal night.